Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul.
Back in the office.
Back.
He is back again.
Yeah.
In, out. He shakes it all about.
A lot quicker than I thought. The healing process is going well, so I'm back for the foreseeable future.
Excellent to
And
hear.
I have brought a friend with me today.
Someone's come and visited.
With everything that is going on with March Madness currently in America, we thought, let's talk about it. And so we thought we'd bring on the legend, the Portsmouth legend, former BBL Surrey Scorcher. Let's just go straight into it. Hang on. Yeah, now stand and cheer. Yeah, small forward, number 12, Adam Riabi.
Good evening.
He's back.
He is back.
Adam's back.
How's everyone doing? All right?
Thunderdome. Yeah, good, man.
We're good. Adam is back to talk about
He is back.
American college basketball.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Do you know what? It sounds weird saying you're a small forward because you're not small.
I'm average. I am average.
Do you say small forward or do you say your number? Like position number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, that's it. We say numbers.
You say numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We'd say
I always
numbers.
find that there's always a crossover. Some people still go small
Yeah.
forward. Some people say
No,
numbers.
it's probably like number / I'd say like wing or center or something.
So what you say, number 3?
Yeah, 2, 3.
2, 3.
Yeah,
Okay. Just always find it interesting.
yeah.
So you right there, Paul?
Yeah,
He's literally just sitting there going, oh, I've got to press buttons and I've got to do stuff again.
got lots of buttons. Just trying to remember where everything is.
Where am I? You're like the old man
Yeah.
walking around.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
am
yeah.
I?
Wow. Well, I've almost had 3 weeks off
I know.
from you, Mark.
Yeah, I know. It's been
But
good.
Lost a lot of weight as well.
yeah, I know.
Where?
I know. Everywhere. But yeah. Well, Adam, welcome back to the studio. Yeah, we wanted to talk about the whole NCAA tournament going on and just general college basketball, and we had so much positive feedback from your episode, especially around the college basketball stuff. So many people were interested in getting your perspective, and there was like little snippets of things that you were saying, and everyone was like, oh, that was so interesting. So you thought, let's get Adam back because everything's kind of kicking off. We're at the Final Four now.
Yep. Final Four, men's and women's.
Final Four for the men's and women's. Though you have to argue, you got to argue, everyone's only really talking about the women's.
Yeah. Yeah, like historically, it's NCAA, and March Madness is always associated with the men's Division 1, the Final Four teams, and the 68 teams go into a pot. It's a one knockout, everyone goes through. But I don't think I've seen any media coverage about the men's team.
Yeah.
At all. It's all been about the ladies'
Purdue,
teams.
they've kind of come up, haven't they?
Yeah.
With their guy.
I think it's good. It's a change that it's focused more on the women's. I think it's really good, actually.
Well, do you know what? Even going to the wiki page, good old Google and wiki, where would the world be without them? But even going to those things, they actually state March Madness is associated with the men's game. You can't say that anymore.
No.
You can't say it anymore. It's been floating around with some stats and everything. It was 12.1 million viewers watched the game, which was Iowa and LSU. 12.1 million viewers.
Wow.
And the NBA finals the 2023 finals, the average game was 11.1 million. So there's more people who'd watched the women's.
We're saying most watched basketball event of all time was
not of all time, but in the last in
the
recent
last
years.
year.
In the recent, the last
I
year.
think the hype for those two guys going up against each other. Sorry, guys, you know what I mean? Like Reese and Caitlin going up against each other.
So one of the things to point out, and someone did point out in the media, which is fair, was that when you're talking about the NBA finals, it's a 7-game series. So they're saying 11.1 million on average were watching the NBA final games. But obviously one game would be up higher than the others. Whereas this game in particular is just a one shot, you're in or you're out.
But that's what I like about it.
And this,
I like
that game
pressure
that's just happened was whoever wins literally goes through to the Final Four. If you don't win, you're binned out.
But
that's it.
that's what I liked about the in-season. I know the in-season tournament in the NBA didn't have some positive things, but I quite liked it because it was like
every game counts.
those underdogs can knock out a juggernaut.
Yeah.
And if you look, especially from what I remember in the Western Conference, it was like all the top teams weren't progressing. That's how the Lakers got to the finals or won it. And I don't think they played a top 5 team from the West.
No, and they had a fairly easy run.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm guessing with the college side of things, none of these games particularly, I'm literally looking at the whole map of each of the runs, and you're looking at some of the games and they're like 56, 67, 72, 69. They're all tight games. They're all games where
they're all playing for it because they, so many times it's been big upsets, and every year there's upsets, and sometimes, the underdogs come out and win it. It's like,
so take us back, because you're obviously in college in the States.
Yeah.
And so what is it like when you're in college and you're around this time of year and that people are playing for something that counts? What's that like being a player?
To be honest, where the whole season is highly pressurized because coaches with a high IQ understand the importance of getting wins in early in the season so that later on down the line you're not scrambling for the last few games to put yourself in the best position for the end of season. You kind of learn to teach yourself as a team and as an individual that like every game is like the same. Obviously there's external pressures that come with tournaments and stuff like that, which is obviously all good stuff like you were talking about, Paul. Like that's what makes it exciting, when it's like you either win this and go through or you don't and you're home and that's your season done. That's the pressure that we all like. So March is a mad time. That it is just what it is. But you train that way all season, and then so when it comes to that, you are ready for it, and then you take it, a step
Just
up
another
or two.
game. Yeah.
It's the end of the season, so as well. So you're beaten up from the whole season. You got little niggles, injuries. It's all about mindset, and yeah.
So you've just mentioned something there that was one of my questions I had about fatiguing, because we see it so much in the NBA, and obviously this is all college level. But where's the next step?
Yeah.
3 months after this finishes, you got NBA draft. So people are putting, whether they like it or not, a bit of onus on how I perform here will reflect potentially on my draft position if I'm going for the draft.
In all honesty, the pressures of college are a lot greater in my opinion. Now, a lot of people might speculate, but a lot of people that have been in the position will understand. And even NBA players, I think they would agree in saying that in those college years, the grind is a lot harder than it's where you learn to, build that foundation of the real grind. And you learn stuff as a young adult, things that you don't like about yourself, or it can go really deep, and it's just about, highlighting your weaknesses and then trying to push through them and build good habits, because, like you said, 3 months later is the NBA draft. So it's like, it's a very quick turnaround, and it's, you've got only a few years to mature.
If you're having a stinky competition at that point and you're having a bad run, you must be thinking, come on, I'm better than this.
I don't know if this is a silly question, but by like you said, you guys are hit, whoever it is, you're trying to hit the ground running from the start of the season. By the time you get to March Madness, like the NBA scouts, have they kind of made their mind up, or they're probably still looking at the tournament, but they got a good idea, right?
They've got a good idea, but they're there from the start of the season all the way through. So they'll be at pre-season tournaments. They'll be, they might pop up in a home game, and you'll know kind of who they are, or like the coaches or the assistant coaches will like know who it is that's coming, because obviously they get messaged prior. But yeah, you just don't know. People can come out in and out the door. I've had NBA scouts in some of my games. Other people have had them in loads of their games and stuff. So it's tough.
That's got to be weird.
Yeah.
That's
Hang on a
pressure.
minute. That's an NBA scout over there. You'd be like,
That's pressure.
What?
No, it won't be that. It wouldn't even be that. It'll be like, that's the Detroit Pistons scout over there.
yeah.
That's the Boston Celtics scout. That's what it wouldn't say NBA. It would be, and everyone would be like, everyone I guess would know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That is pressure.
They tried to be as discreet as possible because of the pressure side of it that would bring, and then everyone starts playing out of character and like start going 1v1 and trying to do all their stuff. That's
I guess as well,
because Adam said that in his last podcast.
Yeah.
You were saying about people just trying to, I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to show my stuff. So if you got a scout there, that you got the danger of someone doing that.
Of course. And because they're coming multiple times, they're seeing you multiple occasions. So they're going, Is this a character who, when I saw him in September,
course,
October,
Did he just win the lottery in that game?
yeah, and has he developed? Has he shown me that he's a? Because you don't just want. I mean, I want to say not arguably in the NBA. Do you want the person who comes out of college? Right, he's ready for the NBA now. Okay, but is he going to develop anymore? Because is this his ceiling? Is his ceiling college? He hits it and he go, you'll be a very handy player.
Yeah.
But you're going to be in this position. You are perfect role. You're going to be a Kyle Korver. You're going to sit in there. You can bang a three. You can do that. You're journeyman. You'll have 10, 11 years in the NBA. Perfect. But we know that you're going to go third round in the draft.
Yeah. Or you could be like a Giannis where like your first year compared to where you are now, that's all growth. Yeah. All growth.
Exactly. But they would have seen he's got an appetite for making himself better.
Yeah.
And if he's someone who wants to do that, I mean, look at the Kobe's, look at Jordan, look at all those people that they put the work in, they want to practice, they're hungry.
It's
look,
that.
Anthony Edwards now, he always came out of the blocks, but this year it's like this guy is just running up and down the league.
It's all based as a scout, it's all based on potential and then your habits. If you've got the potential, that's sometimes luck, sometimes not, depending on, you work hard, of course, but some people are naturally gifted more than others. But if they can pick up on that, and then you've also got the good hard working habits to go along with it, they're the two things that go together. They know, okay, this person's definitely going to grow to, this level. We can definitely invest in this.
Do you think there's a bit of luck in it as well?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
It was just like, if you just happen to play a team and your team has a bad day and you get knocked out first round, it's the whole tournament where you're not on display.
Or you're injured. You could have it. You could have just suddenly gone.
You could be the best person in the league, and if you're injured,
just broken my finger or
have
my
a bad
thumb.
game.
But when you're that level, when you're in that kind of 1 to 2% of people that they know who you are and whatever, and they know you're injured, it can still be a thing where you can be put through doors when you are ready. But for the people that are kind of on the verge of being really good in their team/league and mixing with kind of more average, they're kind of in the middle. They could have a really good game and get signed or not and just be a more average player. It is, like you said, luck in that sense. Anything can happen.
Do you remember those? Do you remember that one of those first games when you realised there was a scout there?
Yeah. So my first ever tournament.
Did you know who the scout was from, like the team?
No. So I did get told by my assistant coach that it was an NBA scout. I didn't know the team, but he basically, when I first got to America, when I was 18, we started in August, all of our preseason stuff. By October, we had our first. It was called a jamboree tournament. So all the teams in our league would play together, and there'd be a load of scouts there picking up talent. Because obviously everyone's coming from high school, etc. So. There was a load of scouts there from all these top NCAA teams / some NBA ones as well. Luckily, I did play really well in that tournament, and I did get offered 3 Division 1 interests from my games. However, my head coach had told me that I wasn't eligible to transfer due to my kind of prerequisite classes from the UK, like my credits didn't transfer.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
So that was unlucky. If I had known more on the subject, maybe my life could have been totally different. But that door closed, and then another one opened. You learn a lesson from that door closing, and then the next one opens, and you've learned something, and you find the next door open for yourself. So it's cool. It's nice pressure.
That's a very great way to look at it. Yeah.
So
how does the coach tell you? Like, are you sat on the bench and he just comes behind your ear and goes,
"That's the thing.
There's an NBA coach."
Yeah. Now, me and my assistant coach, Nick, he was like a brother to me, older brother. So it was me and another guy who's my year as well. He moved from Greece. His name's Strat. So we moved in together, and he kind of took us under his wing, like telling us everything, telling us to do this, what American style of playing is like, because obviously we're Europeans, play totally different. So he kind of taught us everything and showed us the way, etc. But when it came to stuff like that, he wouldn't tell like other players, oh, you know, there's so and so in the crowd. Like, he wouldn't really care. You know, you're trying to coach a game, but he did say he did tell me down the bench who was around and stuff like that, just as like because he knows the situation. So yeah,
I got visions of Adam subbing into the game and coach is giving him some last words like, I want you to mark number 12 and there's 3 NBA scouts, so
good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah. No, he'd say it when I was sat down on the bench, but
yeah, don't mess up, by the way.
Yeah.
I suppose that says something about what the coach thinks about your ability as well.
Yeah.
If he's saying that to you.
No, he did see he did see a lot of potential in us two particularly, just as, you know, having the skill and a different type of playing style to what all the Americans are used to.
Different approach.
Yeah, a different approach, exactly. If you can mix that with learning how to be successful in America with their style, then you come out on top, really. That's why people like Luka and all these European players, they just dominate, because they understand this, but they understand NBA and how they play and how to get away with stuff.
So what is the scheduling like in terms of games for college basketball?
Yes, so mostly it's two games a week, but obviously where you're in college, it's we can play on a Saturday as well. So sometimes it might be 3. So it's difficult, but it's mostly 2 games that we have.
And the travel, how does that
Yeah, I
work?
was going to say, because you were talking about divisions within.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at like the tournaments, you see there's a couple of like first ranked, and I thought, is that maybe based on divisions then?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, in terms of travel, we used to get because obviously it was the lower level in my first 2 years at my community college. We would travel by coach a lot. Then later on down the line, when in a few years' time, when you get to better teams, you get the luxury of flying places and stuff. But you know it can be, especially in America, where everything is so just massive. It
shows you how much money is there as well. If someone's getting a flight, it shows you how much money's they're getting from it. I guess from like ticket sales and stuff.
Yeah, ticket sales, but more government funding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just pump money in that area, and that's why they do so well, because the universities have a lot to pay for scholarships and everything.
The universities in America are some of the richest single institutions, like in terms of businesses.
Yeah,
in America, they're all $1 billion turnovers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and funny you bring up money. So the contract for the NCAA annually, the TV rights are $891 million.
And who gets that? The NCAA. They then share it to the teams,
and they just split that. That goes out across that's for the TV rights for the games, like for March
Bloody
Madness
hell.
and stuff.
What's the Premiership? Like the football?
Exactly. That's where do you think the money comes from for sport? It's all to do with TV rights. And
but I'm just trying to do a comparison against like English football. Is it this?
I'll find it out.
Yeah.
While you guys are talking, I'll go find out. But 891 million is the annual contract for broadcast rights, and they've got that now until 2032.
wow.
And NAIA has got something along the lines of, I think it's not even half, it's about half that or something. They're crazy numbers for the television rights. And you think people are paying to go to university and college and stuff out there, which isn't cheap. And then they're getting the TV broadcast rights for that as well. So these competitions can afford to have
100%.
big stadiums, travel, put it on. I mean, obviously the colleges and everything that you're playing in, they're big venues, aren't they?
Yeah, thousands, yeah. So it builds your character early, but yeah, going back to the salary stuff, like there are some, if you were to think of a university coach for somewhere in England for any sport, you would never be thinking, okay, yeah, he's on 6 figures easily.
20, 30 grand, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Like that.
But over there, they're on like 6 figures.
Really?
Yeah, they're a couple 100,000.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
No, like seriously, yeah. Like I went to one of the coach's house once at a friend who was playing for Elon at the time, Elon University, and house super, super nice in North Carolina. Yeah, it was And I had to ask the question, how much money are these guys making? And yeah, it was in the six figures.
North Carolina are they've won 6 titles for the NCAA March Madness. So I think they're 3rd or 4th ranked in history. The biggest is UCLA with 11 titles in terms of the whole March Madness sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
But that's in the men's game. But it's funny because that title, and when I was just looking through this, because when we were talking about doing this as a topic, what I noticed was there was lots of these, they've won 5 in a row, they won 4 in a row, they won 6 in a row. When was that? 60s, 70s, all these sort of time periods.
You don't get many teams win it in a row now.
Once you go
so
into
difficult,
the
isn't
90s, it's like 1 or 2 maybe, then someone else gets it, then Duke will get it, and then North Carolina
it's
will
like
get
it's like the same as NBA, isn't it? Like Chicago Bulls for 3-4 years or whatever, and then it's now it wouldn't
those
really be like that, would it?
No, they're not as common. I just thought it was really interesting parallel because we've done it obviously about the Lakers. We talked about the Pistons. We were going to do something with the Celtics and Bulls and stuff, and it's all really interesting when you look at them and think, well, you don't get those in the college, and yet those are the people who are going on often into the NBA and other teams abroad.
I suppose your lifespan of players is a lot shorter as well.
Exactly.
And
you got 4 years on them.
I remember you saying you got like the rookies coming in, but they're building them up for their 3rd or 4th year.
Yeah.
So by the time they get, and then they could, if they're that good, they can go into the NBA draft or WNBA draft.
So because the NBA draft is age related, and I know they've been talking about changing it.
Okay.
Because when you have the likes of, say, LeBron and Kevin Garnett, for example, they didn't go to college.
Yeah.
They came out of high school and went straight to the NBA.
Yeah.
Kobe,
another one. And when you look at those players, then they once they changed it, they had to do they had to be like 19 before they played their first game or something now. Okay. So basically that's why you saw a lot of people who went for 1 year at college, did a year at college, and then they left and went into the NBA. That's why you started seeing that pattern happen, because it was the age.
Wow.
You had to be 19 before you drafted, whereas it was something like you had to be 19 before you played your first game.
Okay.
Which obviously for timeline changes it a little bit, doesn't it?
Do you think there's more that players just want to get into the NBA rather than stay in college? Because if you look back at certain players, like maybe, I think Larry Bird, he stayed in for another year before he went on to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson.
Magic. I don't know if he finished college. I'd have to double check, but he definitely stayed for
But Larry deferred it, didn't he? He perfectly.
Yeah.
He said, you can go now, and he went, no, I want to finish.
But if you look at some of the all-time greats, they've gone and played 4 years. Is it 4 years at college?
Yeah. Well, I think it's really interesting what you've said, Adam, about how it shapes you as a person.
Yeah.
Because when you see some of these characters, there aren't many Kobe's and LeBrons. There aren't many characters like that. And if you've got someone who's going in, who's say 19, going into the NBA,
they got to be good. They're a freak, aren't they?
They are. They have to be. And if not,
well, you probably get one every 5-10 years, maybe. Do you? I don't know.
But what you're going to have, if not, you're going to get someone like I'm going to say Mo Bamba. Yeah. You're going to get someone going in just because he's a big guy and they think he could be high utility, and he doesn't pan out because he maybe hasn't had those college years, like you're saying, where you're shaping yourself as a man, and or a woman, and you're shaping yourself and becoming an adult, and learning that grind.
Some of it is beneficial to go to college. Some of it's not. It depends on what the player's situation is. Obviously, a lot of the guys in the NBA do come from poverty, so that would be an easy way for them to get out and go straight into the NBA and know that financially they'd be secured. Because they might, they do get money in college, under the table at the time. They don't have, you can't legally get paid for
a signing bonus.
I think they can get paid now, right?
So I think they can get
brands.
Through brands and jersey sales, etc.
I'd love to know how much Caitlin Clark has made this year.
Send her a DM.
So have you seen what Ice Cube said?
Oh, what did he offer? 5?
5 million to go play in Big 3 during the summer, and it will still make her eligible for the WNBA because the Big 3 is a summer league effectively. So he's like 5 million, and what I thought was really interesting is his angle was, we've got some great female coaches who've led some of the best teams. We want to get more female players involved. you'd be a perfect example of
Yeah.
that. Like, come in. And that's what he's doing. He's like, let's level the playing field. I'm going to offer you probably more money than you're going to make in the WNBA.
Yeah, but the only argument I'd say is
It won't affect it either.
it's not the WNBA. Right, let's put that to Adam. So, Adam, you've got a choice. You can
Yeah.
get $5 million to go and play in the Big Three next season, or you can go and play in the NBA
No, she can
as
do
a
both.
rookie.
She can do both.
What?
She can do both. That's the whole point. The Big Three is only during the summer.
Summer, so it doesn't count.
It doesn't
Yeah.
affect the WNBA. So he's literally saying, come
Yeah.
play Big Three for the
There's
summer.
no, I don't think that you're going to get a WNBA team. So, yeah, we'll let you do that.
She's still eligible.
What happens if she gets injured? They've then lost.
All
one
right,
of
if
the-
she says she's going to go and do it, what WNBA team's going to turn her down? Oh, we're going to pick her in a draft. Oh, yeah.
Adam,
I
what would
don't
you
wanna-
do? NBA or Big Three if the money was there? Because I guess there's rookie contracts, right, at the NBA.
Yeah, of course. It depends what you
that's
like
got-
as a,
that's got the
as a
name.
player. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I probably would go for the Big Three.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I can't think of a mindset that's more toxic than thinking, oh, I don't want to go because of injury or whatever. You need to just, if it's the best thing for you, then go. If you're just doing it for money, then obviously you carry the risk of, extra time away from you preparing for your rookie year in WNBA, or NBA for that matter. But yeah, it's depends on person to person, I reckon.
So you're saying she'd go and play for the summer and then join the NBA?
Because you got to think, look at, I want to say not just Luca, loads of the European players in the summertime go back to Europe and they play in like Euro leagues and all sorts of stuff, don't they?
Yeah.
And you used to see like, it wasn't just Tony Parker, it'd be like, I think,
No, they can't be playing in proper leagues.
some
If-
of
It'll
them.
be like summer stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It won't be like the.
But it'd have to
FIBA.
be endorsed by the NBA, like Mavericks or whoever the team is, because they're not going to say, you
Yeah,
can
of
go
course.
play.
It's all permission
Oh,
based.
it's-
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Contracted.
I remember we had another NBA, a National League player, Ryan Payne. He was on last year now, was it? Last year. And he was good friends with an NBA player called Joel Freeland.
Yeah, sure.
You know Joel?
Yeah.
But he was saying, like, in the summer, Joel would turn up and play in the summer league. So they would go up against a team, and then all of a sudden they've got a Portland Trailblazer turn up, going to play against them.
I did play against him in one of those summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're playing against Ryan's a good guy. But yeah, I did play.
I bet that
against
was
him.
fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Thanks very
So
much.
when Joel turned up and he was on the other side, what are you thinking? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
yeah, this
Here's
is
a test.
I was young then, so that was when I was in Kestrel days. So I think I was 17 that time, 16, 17. Yeah, so it's like you got to play, a different way because obviously he's so tall. So it's like got to put that floater a little bit higher, or like try and play a little different. But it's definitely a good thing to get yourself ready for especially when you go out in the likes of America, where you have people that are like 7'2". Like, you wouldn't really come across that here too much when I was playing. As years goes on, people get taller, but when I was playing, there weren't many 7-footers around in the UK leagues.
No, I mean that's big.
Yeah,
7'2".
Yeah, there's a big guy. You know what?
Every doorway is a
Yeah.
potential head problem, isn't it?
Just want to say about Ryan Payne. He has got, I almost want to call him Mr. Stato. He's got such a mathematical brain, isn't he? He was talking, he's just like, yeah, there's a 24% shot percentage if it's over here, and LeBron James, he knows all the LeBron stats. We were going to do a LeBron episode. I was like, get Ryan on. We just press record and let him talk for 2 hours.
yeah.
But I just noticed this stat. So the Premier League in the UK is currently looking at a new deal starting in 2025. It's going to be about. Sorry, is that in dollars? Your original amount you said
$891 million. Yeah.
So this is about
600 million.
8.4 billion is the Premier. So
Yeah.
it's
How many years is that?
is that for 1 year?
Yeah, that's 891 million a year,
Oh,
and they've done that till 2032. So that's probably an 8-year
It's
contract.
big time.
Yeah. When they signed it at the time, I think it was an 8 billion
holy
or thereabouts.
That's okay. So roughly,
Yeah.
it's about half of what the Premier League TV rights is.
Yeah.
Rough. I mean, that's me doing it really, really quick on a calculator.
Yeah, man.
But rough.
Yep.
Which for university is perspective
Huge.
is nuts.
Yeah.
Think about it. So that's why that, you know, eventually they'll probably take over when with football, you know, soccer. They'll probably take over because of how much money they're just putting into it. They're playing catch up at the moment, but from their grassroots all the way to, you know, the professional level, the money's there for them. Whereas, you know, here it's not as much. It is for football, but for other sports, it's not as much. We don't prioritize sport like they prioritize sport. It's different gravy.
Is it? I just started laughing when you said that because I thought I saw this advert the other day and it was comparing UK parents against American parents.
Okay.
And it was a soccer, and in soccer the kids were all playing, and the American parent was like, "Well done, guys! Great teamwork," or something, and good.
Yeah.
Shake their hands after the game, and it goes to the UK guy, and it goes, "What prickers effing legs?"
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, no, it's like you say, it's cut differently, isn't it? We approach certain sports.
definitely football approach that very different.
We
I don't
approach
know.
very differently. But you know, when you look at funding, it's funny. It's come up a few times recently. The way in which people are funded. Some people argue and say, "Hang on a minute, why are they not putting money into certain things in the UK? Why are they putting money into cycling, for example?" And you go, "Well, because we win lots of gold medals doing that, and we have done." But what did they do? Well, they built a massive arena for cycling, didn't they? And they've got that giant velodrome, and then they built another one.
Start somewhere, you know.
It's got to start.
somewhere.
It's got to start somewhere.
It could start with building
You can't have
an
the
arena
success
in
without
Portsmouth.
all the, you know, prerequisite hard work and
exactly And
talent, and it doesn't work that way.
so, I'm really interested about college in particular with the ground, the stadiums, and that sort of thing. So, what is it like? I know we talked about it a little bit, and if you haven't listened to Adam's, go listen because they're brilliant episodes. We really enjoyed doing them. But when
Double header, wasn't it?
yeah, it was
Double header episode.
when we're going into like these sort of championship kind of games.
Yeah.
How does that change? Like being in the atmosphere and stuff like that. What is that like as a player? It does it because you said obviously you're full tilt from day one.
Yeah.
But you're still going into competition, so it definitely steps somewhere.
Yeah, it definitely steps somewhere, and like even when you're just saying that, I've got a little smile on my face because it's just like it's an extra adrenaline that just goes through you, and you hype yourself up for that, and you never know what can happen. Some players, you know, play differently when it comes to pressure. Luckily, I am very good under pressure. Luckily, I over the years in certain games that's mattered or whatever, I have played a lot better than my standard. That's good, and say that's lucky, or you know it's worked out. But it's definitely something that, you know, to be excited for.
So you're not shy of the ball under a pressure situation.
No. Like leading up to it, like I get those nerves. Like it's not like anybody's gonna sit here, you know, professional or not professional, and tell you like, oh no, I don't feel anything. Like it's good for you to feel the nerves because that means that, you know, you care about it. There's a lot on the line, and how you execute those nerves is what makes the difference between playing well or not playing well.
And the extra pressure is also like, if it's being televised, okay, someone's now saying, all right, you might have, I mean, it depends on the league, but you might have, 12 million people watching.
Yeah.
And then they've been talking about it for weeks, building up. Because I think from what I saw when the schedule came out, everyone was going, oh, okay, Iowa and LSU, they're going to meet in the Elite Eight. And everyone's like, why has that happened? It should be the final. Like, I know that was talked about for a bit, but if you're one of those players, you're now being talked about weeks about a game, and that game actually now comes up, and then you're going into that game.
Because you've still got to knock down all the other hurdles,
of course,
to get to that point. It's like
every hurdle gets higher and higher as well.
Yeah, it's like one step closer to this big hype, and then even if we get there, then can we live up to that hype?
Exposure that those two teams got, and you got to talk about last year in particular with Iowa and LSU, and what I think everyone remembers Angel Reese doing the finger.
Yeah, the ring finger.
Yeah, the ring finger. Like we've won it. However, I know that was the clip that got shown, but I don't think people talk about Caitlin Clark trash talking a lot, which I think instigated that.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of focus goes on that ring, which doesn't look like great sportsmanship. However, there's build up and there's so much passion, so much emotion. It's just, for me, I'm like, it's just a great moment in sport, I think.
Yeah.
They, you know, it's the media, isn't it? They're always going to put a nice little spin on stuff.
Yeah, of
those
course.
Sort of things.
That obviously looks better as a picture when you, touching the ring finger than it does. You know, you can't really take a picture of somebody talking. It doesn't have the same amount of engagement.
And when she fouled out the game, when Angel Reese found out the game, all the other fans in Iowa, they're all waving her goodbye, weren't they?
Yeah.
When she was going to sit down, and you go, look, if you're, I can't remember how old she is, just off the top of my head, but I'll have to look it up. She's not. Then these are still young adults.
Yeah,
they're still finding their way in the world.
That's it.
And you've got how many thousands and thousands of people waving, "Go take a seat, love."
Yeah,
and you
that's
think,
it.
I don't care who you are. You've got heavy bear the crown. You know, if you're a good player, and she's a great player.
She's in the media. You know, I think she can deal with that. You know, like people waving to her and stuff and saying, "Sit down." It's like, look, she's probably gone through lots of stuff with crowd interactions on the media, the way people are talking. People waving to her. It's like, I bet she probably felt more disappointed about losing the game than the crowd.
Yeah, of course. And you would feed off that. If you love it and you like doing that, you're going to feed off it.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about that game in particular, because, you know, I'll hold my hand up and say I haven't watched a huge amount of NCAA women's basketball. However, the hype for that game was so much that I thought, okay, I'll watch this. And it started, and I'll be honest, it was really exciting to the point where I was like, I got to watch this now. So it's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm like, oh man, it's 2 in the morning. I need to go to bed. And I was just kind of hooked to it to see what would happen. And there's a little part of me that just wanted to see if these players were up for the hype.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that Angel Reese was a big until I started watching. She was great. She was great inside. And there's one point, I think it was in the second quarter, she got injured. And then all of a sudden, Iowa started coming back. So it just highlighted how integral she was. And then Caitlin Clark, she was okay. I think she hit 3 threes and a couple of big plays in the first half. But again, I thought, oh, she's okay. Third quarter.
Yeah.
It was like she hit a huge 3, like from way beyond the arc. Bam. I was like, oh, nice shot. It was like Steph Curry-esque. And then bam, another one. It was like, oh, bam, another one. I think she hit like 4 in a row or something. It's like, damn, this girl can shoot. And
not just like static, like in-game shots as well. It's like
Steph, it was like Steph, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like Steph Curry.
She moves as she shoots. Really moves. Like she gets that ball, she jumps, and she's still moving to the left as it's going up. That makes sense.
It's a very quick trigger that the ladies pull when they're shooting compared to the men's. That's one of the things that I've noticed about the shot. It seems like a much faster release, whereas a lot of the men's shots often are they're jumping up, holding on, like doing the hang in the air sort of thing. It seems that the ladies' shot is a much quicker release, just in the way it's. I mean, Steph Curry is a very unusual shot himself, but it's a different type of shot, but so effective.
I mean, I haven't got the box score in front of me. You've got it, but what I was saying to you was, she scored 41 points, and then she had 12 assists. So that's, I don't know how many of those assists were threes. I think there was at least 1, maybe 2. But you're showing it to me now. So you got to argue. Sorry, what am I looking at? You're showing me LSU.
Iowa. It's down here.
So
there's Caitlin Clark there.
So 65 points out of the 87. Out of the 94 went through Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
But the one thing I don't think is talked enough is what did you say Johnson's first name was for LSU?
Oh, hang on.
Is it Flair or something like that?
Yeah, I want to say it's Flower, but I could be wrong.
Flower looks.
Flower Johnson. For me, she was
Oh, 23 points.
One of the best players.
23
on
points,
LSU.
6 rebounds, 2 assists.
I mean, Caitlin Clark scored 41 points, was banging threes from almost like the halfway line. But as far as Johnson's concerned, I thought she was great. She was, for me, outside Caitlin Clark, one of the best players in that.
But you had a problem with the stats, didn't you? Because they kept flashing up stats, and you're like, some of these stats aren't making sense.
Now they look a lot better.
When you see it on the scores there, where you actually say, okay, so this person is, say, 6 for 16, you go, okay, that makes sense. But when you're putting percentages up, you go, doesn't look right here.
I bet you weren't happy with free throws, Mark, in that game.
No.
He hates... What? Right, let's get this out. What do you think about players moving free throws? Because he's really critical and saying if you miss a free throw, you're a disgrace. Whereas I'm like, you know what? You've got the pressure, you're tired, you've got everything that's going on. You might have a light shining on the backboard or something like that.
This week's BBL is a perfect example.
Mark's saying you should not miss a free throw. Should a professional miss a free throw?
They had a minute to go, 1 point game, minute to go. They were up by 1. Guy gets fouled going up for a shot.
Who's they?
I want to say Kwabi Green. I want to say it was from Caledonia. What does he do? Sinks both of them. Bang, bang, done. That's how you do it. Now you've got 3-point extension lead. Congratulations, you're doing well. Then what happens? It goes the other end. They get a chance to equalise it. Shot goes up, and I want to say it was Ricky McGill. Gets a chance to throw up, get to him. What happens? First shot, chokes. Total brick. You go, why have you done that?
He's ruthless, isn't he?
Yeah.
No.
He's absolutely ruthless. He's like, how dare you miss a free throw?
No, but you got a minute left, and it was a game where it was end-to-end. It was a brilliant game, but it was end-to-end, Caledonia, Newcastle, and you thought, you had a few chances here, and you haven't taken them, and they had poor shot selection. And then when it came to it, if you'd hit the first one, if you then went for let's hit the ring, try and get a rebound or do something like that, create a 3-point play, maybe go up again, you still got at least 2 plays in that shot clock. Yeah. And that didn't do it. They didn't even then bother foul. They let them run around for 10 seconds. You go, what are you doing?
Adam, come on, what do you think?
Free throws are inexcusable. Uncontested shot.
Yeah.
Let him speak.
It's an uncontested shot.
Let him give his view.
No, they are a non-negotiable, but yes! I will say it can happen. That's all I'll say. It's a non-negotiable, but anyone can miss anyone can miss a layup at some point.
Reggie Miller said it best.
Choke.
That's it. Reggie Miller said it best.
Free throws. He was talking about the team.
Yeah, but anyone can choke. But it shouldn't be.
I side with the players a little bit.
If you're 3 out of 4. Okay, that's fine. You might miss 1.
Yeah.
But when it's a pressure shot, and that's why I was so impressed, Caledonia step up. They're only a point ahead. It's like these count, and you've got a minute and a bit left in the game. This is where you don't want to be missing.
Yeah.
Sunk both of them. Didn't even bat an eyelid. You go, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Literally goes the other end of the court. Almost the same thing happens. You go, and
stop being out of order. Stop being out of order. Right. When it comes to college, you also got to talk about profiles. So players who maybe in the media, maybe in social media have those profiles. My favourite one so far, I've got this out to show you, my favourite one so far in the NCAA tournament, probably outside the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry, is this guy. He's called Robbie Alvila. And there he is there. Have you seen this guy?
I have actually.
Yeah. And I love his nicknames. Do you know his nicknames?
No, what is?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Larry Nerd. My personal favourite, Larry Blurred.
Oh, God. I shouldn't be laughing at this.
With his little glasses on.
Milk
Brilliant.
Chamberlain. Oh, no, that was a good one as well.
Milk Chamberlain's a good one.
Yeah. The other one's College Jokic. We didn't really like that one, did we?
He's mobile. He's a really mobile.
He's out, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's... How much is profiles as part of all that as well? How important is that?
In terms of...
Just, I guess, getting into that tournament, getting noticed from NBA clubs. Because I remember I can't remember the guy's name, but there was these 2 young kids going at each other. And one was quite I'd probably say passionate, and D'ing him up, maybe a little bit of arrogance there. Do you know the video I'm talking about?
Don't think.
And he stayed quite small, this guy. But as he's got older, everyone always does that overrated.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Do you know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have seen this now. Yeah.
But he's had a profile, probably a bit like, who's the three brothers and the dad?
Yeah, the Bulls.
The Bulls.
Yeah.
That's been built up for how long? For years and years and years before they got into the
Were you
NBA.
talking about the high school player that was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hispanic one. I know what you.
Yes.
I know what you mean. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he was hype, and then get that. It's the profile was a big thing. Like you see the dad, the senior Bull. He put his kids in a position where they've got doors open for them, and trying to get the third one to get there, but he's got two of them there, very much there already. And yeah, obviously everyone has heard stuff that he says is outrageous, like he beat Michael Jordan in a 1-on-1 or whatever. But if that gets attention on media, and then everyone's then talking about it, and like, the Ball brothers, they're going to be who you look out for when you watch UCLA play or whatever. It's part of the game, and if he's doing it, if it's done strategically, which I believe it is, then I think it's fair dues. It's smart.
Did you hear the latest thing that he accused Puma? He said the reason that
they're getting injured.
The reason LaMelo gets injured is because Puma's shoes are not good enough for him.
They're not wearing. He's not wearing the BB. Is it BBB brand?
Yeah.
That got sacked off.
Absolute tool, that guy, isn't he? But like you say, did you have people that you played alongside that you go, this is interesting? The way that they, like you say, this persona. They were.
Yeah. Some people are weird. Some people are, they've all got their own stuff to go by, which is fine, because it's nice to have different. That's part of a team. Like not everyone's supposed to be the same character, but as long as they can fit into what we're doing, as a unit, then there's no problem really. Especially my end with people being like that. I've been a captain for 3 of the teams I've played for before, so I have to understand from what a coach wants, and then I see what the players are like, and I've had to be the one sometimes to call out certain stuff that's like too far across the line. But it's all a part of managing everybody, because if I can let them be weird but also fit in and be extra motivated for our game, or fit in chemistry, or do what coach says, blah blah blah, then it's a win-win for us, because that's what's going to help us win games at the end of the day. So
and are you looking at your opposition in terms of how they play, their styles, do any reads on that sort of stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in every team I've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember in the last episode, Adam was saying sometimes if they played him really early on, they might not use that scouting report if they're playing them too far. Like in 20 games time, they might do a more recent scouting report.
Yeah. They'll look at what's happened. For example, you might have had an injury on your right arm, and they know that you've been shooting more mid-range left-hand floaters or something like that. There's small stuff that they will like pick up on, but we watch all the games. It's something that's part of the education process. And
when you're watching those games, that's why the reason I vaguely remembered that, but the reason I was thinking of it is when you're getting down, like what we were saying earlier, when they were plotting out saying, hang on a minute, you've got Iowa coming up against LSU in X amount of games. Are you in those sort of tournaments thinking this team could potentially be our ringer, or these ones are potentially will be coming up against, and then sort of watching far ahead, or
Isn't
are you
that
just
dangerous?
Are you watching just the next step? Or how far are you watching?
It gets too complicated to look so far ahead, because loads of things can change, like I said, but it's definitely like what's new now. We might watch the past game or 2 or maybe 3. And coaches do, they don't tell the players how much they do, but like sometimes they won't like go to sleep for like until like 4 or something a.m. I've heard the stories of my coaches in the past where they're just like watching all the game film, because if they can pick up one thing that's going to help, they can implement it in scouting report or practice, or when we go through dry runs of what they play in practice.
I get that as far as a coach. What about as a player? Like, do you have to train yourself to go, right, I need to go to sleep now? Because
no, sleep is a non-negotiable. Yeah, I know people that have not had much sleep and they do games and blah blah, and they'll always be the same. But physiology doesn't lie about how much you need sleep, especially when you're in those environments. It's especially in college. It's non-stop. It's mental. But we're only speaking about the physical side of basketball, but then you've still got to wake up and go to your 8:30, 9 a.m. class that you've got, and you might have 3 or 4 classes. Then you've got to go and do your individual workout, and then you've got team practice after that, or you might have weights. Even after that, it might be your tough day. Our tough day used to be on Monday, but it does get like that where it's like you can't do all that and have your downtime and then work 2 or 3 games in advance, or scouting from 2-3 games before. Like it's difficult. There's not many. It's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah. Is it non-stop at college? Because the way I'm looking at it is like you said, you've got, I guess, multiple lessons. You've got then you got to study. Then you got to do all your exams and your coursework. And on top of that, the reason that you're there to train and play basketball. But then you've just said, like 20 minutes ago, you got your away games and you're sat on the bus. I guess sitting on the bus is a good time to do that coursework, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, so most of us don't do that. No. That's the time where we build chemistry off the court. Because when we're on the court, when we're tying our laces before practice, that's the time that we would then get together and make some jokes before we go out and play. But when we play, there's not much of the jokey stuff or chemistry stuff going on. Off the court is really where you build that stuff. So on those bus rides, the bus rides are maybe some of the best things that have happened in America, to be honest. And that's where you build the relationships that I still speak to people now, and all my teammates still speak to their people that they've gone and played with at other universities, and that's part of the experience.
That's what you've always said, isn't it?
Yeah.
The
camaraderie on the away trips is where you really create that bond.
Yeah, 100%.
With the travel, I know this is real mundane, but what's on the coach journey? What's like the shortest distance on the coach? What's like the longest?
Shortest might be like an hour. Longest might be like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So there are some times that you've had to the long ones you stay up at hotels or whatever, but it's fine. It shouldn't really do more than 4 because obviously your legs and sitting down. But you just got to suck it up. It's just, we've got this game in, 4 hours away.
I'm just thinking, you're doing all of this, and then when something like March Madness comes on, you got 68 teams going through a knockout one-shot competition, and then it's just all contracted into basically like a 5-week period. Anything like that is just normal day-to-day life, what he's talking about. Then you've got this sort of tournament where it ramps.
It's nuts. You're thinking every minute about, you got to do for this, or like, I really need to get an extra stretch in here or something.
Yeah.
And then, you've got your class, and it might be like, March is the end of the, educational year in the semester as well. So then exams are there as well. It's like,
do the lectures, if you say, look, I've got March Madness.
It's all excused.
They let you off.
Yeah, it's not like the teacher doesn't.
You haven't got a lecturer saying, right, the day after the final, you got this exam.
Well, no, it might be.
Really?
The exams, the dates don't really move. But in terms of like lessons, like you get let off to go on your away game. You get to miss however many games. That's above the professors. But yeah, in terms of that, the universities don't.
In theory, you might have coursework or an exam in between, like a quarter-final and a semi-final.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wow.
And then all of that is like normal. And then in this, it's even more contracted. So if you think
the pressure,
all of these, instead of doing 2 games a week, this might be 3 games a week, and they'll be, and this will be ramped, and the amount of training you'd have to be doing in between, because you go, we're then ramping up because we're going against UConn or we're going against whoever.
And that's what leads to what we were talking about earlier in terms of like the maturing and being young adults, because it is like you get taught stuff like prior preparation prevents poor performance and stuff. There's loads of stuff that you have to apply by if you want to be successful in you get A's at college, and then you're winning the games, and then you're doing this, and whatever's going on for you, if you want to hit the nail on the head for all those areas of your collegiate career, then you've got to mature and have those habits in place. Otherwise, it's kind of game over for you. I've seen many people be so good at basketball, but their grades weren't there. They fell short of their GPA, and that was it. They were out. I'll never see them again.
Because you see that in the films, don't you? Where they need to get a certain grade. So what's the grade like? They need to get like an A, B, C or something like that.
So it's C's minimum.
Okay.
C's minimum. So that's like a 2.0 grade point average. So if you fall for like a 1.9 or a 1.8, the next semester you might have to pick up an extra 2 classes to compensate for that, for example.
Oh no, so you got everything plus another 2 classes.
So it's like you do everything you can to try and get them in the first semester, which is August to December, the full semester. And you try and get in as many as you can, although the college wouldn't let you take so many credits because it's they're based on hours, so you can't fit so many classes in as well as playing, but you try and get in as many as possible because on that latter part of the season you don't want to be focusing on having to make up for 2 or 3 classes while you've got March Madness coming.
Hold on, so there's a whole strategy here about how you're even just approaching your education, not just with your training and
the coaches know this, the professors know this, the unis, the colleges, they all know this. They're trying to help everyone. At the end of the day, if they can win more games and get themselves in a door that they weren't in last season, then they might get more funding. They might get more this. It's in everyone's interest. So we all work together. But it's very interesting and it's strategic and it's.
Did you see anyone burn out? Because I know you're mentioning about people. Shaping themselves. Obviously, we're not naming people, but
no, you see it all the time. To be fair. Now, it's us as players that normally are the ones that pick people up. Coaches, it's almost like, parent to kid relationship where it's like, you're being told what you need to hear, but because it's coming from the parent, it's not really sinking in. But like a lot of the times it will have to come from a tough conversation with the boys, basically. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I've had those conversations where it hasn't worked and sometimes it has. And that's part of it, I guess. And being a captain, you have to do stuff like that. Some of the teams I've played I haven't been a captain, so at Scorchers obviously I was never the captain, so I got to enjoy a little bit of the being under the wing of a captain, for example, which was great and different, and you learn new stuff at a different level, but it's definitely something that you've got to be ready to have those kind of conversations with. Because at the end of the day, it's in your best interest to win.
Yeah.
Winning the game will put you in front of people, and like we said, NBA scouts or top Division 1 recruiters will be there. Like you have to win to get there, otherwise no one cares about losers. So that's it.
And
that's a t-shirt.
But
no one cares about losers.
you got to say as well is college basketball. You have to say that in years gone by, you have had absolute legend moments in tournaments and stuff like that. So I think the main focus is March Madness, isn't it, really?
Yep.
But when you talk about teams like the Fab Five, the Michigan Fab, that's the way I said that, the Fab Five from Michigan. So, with Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Jalen Rose, Ray Jackson, Jimmy King. They've even got, I think it's Disney, isn't it? Disney, they've got like shows about, how they changed the culture of the game at college basketball and stuff like that, like how they did that on and off the court. You've got that Jordan moment for the game.
Carolina.
For I think you've got, what's the Laker who was on the same team? The Laker wore goggles as well. Come on, Mark.
My literal brain has just gone. It's just
It was
literally
Showtime Lakers.
Yeah, I'm not thinking James Worthy, am I?
James Worthy. So James Worthy was on the same team as Jordan at college, and I think James Worthy swung it to someone who then gave it to Jordan. But on the other team, I don't know if people remember, you had Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, you did. You have Ewing.
So
yeah,
you have all these. You got the Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson.
Well,
I know this is. I couldn't help. I had to say this. I couldn't help the whole Bird and Magic thing. I couldn't help see similarities in the whole Reese and Clark coming up. You've got the inside presence of Angel Reese, like dominating on the board.
Yep.
The sharp shooting of Caitlin. I thought, what an amazing. I just thought Magic and Bird.
Yes.
Two different franchises, and I thought,
forward.
how amazing would it see both those players in the WNBA going against each other?
I want to see them on different teams, though. I don't want to see them on the same, like
of course,
Magic and
they wouldn't go same team.
How close would?
But they were guarding a forward, so imagine if they did get both picked by the Sparks or anything. No reason why I couldn't.
Yeah,
if they were in the lottery together, they'd both, no team's going to get 2 picks.
Yeah.
No.
So one thing I did want to say to end that, I thought both teams and in particular those players absolutely showed their class at the end of the game. Absolute class. There was no drama. There was definitely disappointment. Shook hands. Congratulations. That's what you want to see. And I just wanted to highlight that because for me, I just thought what absolute class, they showed and grace. And I think it'll be amazing to see those guys at the next level.
Do you know what I want to point out about that game?
What?
I just sound not petty, but you say Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. They played 36 and 40 minutes respectively. That's a long time on the court.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, Mark, you take Caitlin Clark out of that game, LSU win.
Yeah, 100%.
Same thing. When I think it was second quarter,
Clark,
Angel
Marshall,
Reese got injured. She came
Martin.
out. I think Iowa were down by maybe 12 when she went out the game.
Yeah.
When she came back in, I think it was a 4-point game.
Yep.
So it really highlighted the impact of those two guys.
All of these starters, they're all like 36, 40, 39, 37, 37, 40, 40,
If you look
39.
at LSU, I think only 7 players played. Or was that 7 or 8? Something like that.
7,
and
yeah.
Iowa were 8 players.
Yeah. But that's what I'm looking at. Like, that's high utility on a player like that. So I find that interesting because, again, going back to what Adam's saying, if you're playing all the way through the season and you're doing like 36, 40 minutes per game, you're feeling that. And you're getting to March at this point. You've been playing since September. You're feeling that.
It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, LeBron would have like 25 ice packs strapped around him at this point.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what the numbers, television numbers, and all that are like now, because they're trying to build up Caitlin Clark going up against Paige, whatever her name is. It's not going to be anywhere near as big as LSU. I don't think it will be, but they're already in the media trying to.
Steph as well. They're putting her up against that as well, isn't it? Because it was Steph versus Steph, wasn't it, in the 3-pointer, and
I don't think we should get
be a Steph
in that argument, but I don't personally feel Caitlin Clark could play in the NBA at all. She'd just be pushed around, dominated.
In the NBA?
In the NBA. They're saying she could play in the NBA.
No,
she couldn't. She'd be pushed around.
Respectfully, no.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
There are grown men that could not survive there.
Yeah. How close are the men's and the women's basketball teams at college?
Yeah, really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I guess like brothers and sisters. Yeah, well, no, we are really close because often the men's practice would be on or before or after the women's practice. So like we'd always have like a crossover of, conversation, or they'd be at our home games, we'd be at their home games. When we play away, they'll play before us, or we'll play. Mostly they'll play before us, but we'd always turn up to support them as well on the trip. So you do get that kind of camaraderie a little bit with the.
Do you have the away trips together? Is it planned in that much detail where you kind of all go on one coach to say?
Sometimes it has been all on one coach if it's been like a bigger trip. The smaller trips, obviously, because if they're closer in distance, then they will drive in separate buses because they've got to get there earlier than us. So yeah, it definitely is.
I mean, that's cool that you have, I want to say basketball is the common language.
Yeah.
And it's all teams all together.
We do stuff like outside of basketball. Like I remember one time we had like water balloon fight or something in the student accommodation. Like it was just like stupid stuff where it's like outside, and we've had practice. We've got no game this weekend. It's like just mess about and
I guess everyone's watching everyone's game and stuff like that. So
there's only so much stuff you can do as an athlete before you're in trouble for it, or it's gonna cost you in some way. It's gonna cost you. So by doing something as stupid as a water balloon fight, you're not really gonna get in trouble apart from picking up the balloons when they're done off the floor. But in terms of going out or something like that, like there's stuff that people would do, but it's going against your schedule and stuff. So it's difficult. It's a very fine line of having fun, because obviously there are a lot of pressures and a lot of rules in place that don't do this. If we see this, that's what will happen. It's strict, but it's strict for a good reason, because people take it out of proportion and take the mickey. And
you see some.
I don't think people can appreciate how much everyone has to do at college if you're in a sport.
Well, that's literally what I was going to say about the training thing. I mean, I know they've done it with Kate and Clark. They've done it with a couple of other players I've noticed, and they'll say, "Here's them training just in the off season," and you go, "Well, yeah, because they're a professional athlete. Like it doesn't matter, it's man, woman, whatever age, whatever league they're in. Are they a professional athlete? Yeah, but that's what they're doing. If you showed a gymnast doing that, you wouldn't be like, oh look, they're practicing. Well, yeah." And they're practicing hard and they're really working out.
Of course.
Oh, and by the way, they also have a job or college or something else and a family and friends and stuff, and try at some point to be just a bit of a human and have a bit of fun.
Just the academic side of things. You look at that and that's huge.
Well, I just think it's great hearing the fact that you have a window to go, oh, by the way, I'm a 19-year-old kid. I want to have a water fight. That's totally okay.
Yeah.
I'm 44-year-old man child. I'll still want to have a full water fight.
I'll still have one whenever,
Exactly.
We can get them out right now if you want.
We'll have to do that for next time. We're like,
you wait next time, pal. Wear a rain jacket. But that's good to hear, because like you said about the seriousness of it, I think, as you pointed it, it's because in the UK we don't have that in sport in that way in college.
Yeah.
We don't associate how much like a lot of the people, for you to get to college in the States, most people in the UK will just dream about that, just to even get to that point.
When did you have that first I've got to pinch myself moment kind of thing when you got to American college? Was like, was it sat or walking on the court for the first time, or seeing your jersey, or them saying, hey, we're all wearing the same shoes, here's your shoes, let's go?
It was...
He loves his shoes.
Yeah, I do like my shoes. It was probably on the trial when I went over in like March, April time, and then I signed then, and then flew back out in August. So when I was there and I was playing for the first time against Americans properly, because I played against Americans before, like you said earlier, when they send down a USA select team and they play against Kestrels, whatever. I've played against that. But
I was asked to ref that.
Okay. Yeah.
I was asked to. I know what game you're talking. They said this American team's coming over, like a Team USA came over, and I was on the schedule to ref it.
Yeah.
And then I was really nervous because I was like, holy crap, this is big. And I phoned another ref who's much more experienced than I am, and I was like, I'm scheduled to do this game. I'm really nervous because this is a completely different level, and part of me thinks a ref who's done like maybe National League Div 1 should do this. And he was like, yeah, he should. Why are you on it? And I was like, okay. And I quickly came off it. Yeah. So you played in that game?
Yeah, I played in that game. Yeah. So it was good, but that was my awakening moment of like, okay, let's do it. And yeah, I played really well in my few days of trial. And then the first day was me training with the team. So the current players, played some kind of up and down 5-on-5, did some kind of workouts, etc. And then after that, they did like a tryout for the local kind of talent, and the current players didn't play in that. So it was me versus basically all the new ones. And so all the current players were in the stands watching, and I absolutely killed it. And all the current players were like, yeah, Adam, yeah. So it was like
because you would have had that camaraderie with
yeah,
them during the
exactly.
games, yeah.
And because I had worked out with them, and that they knew kind of what I was like after a few days of speaking and playing, things fall into place when you have those kind of stuff. So I am grateful for that, but it's also something that I can say that it's something that you learn. It's not always just given to you. Stuff like that is people skills, but also you put yourself in a position where you've worked hard for X amount of months. When I finished at Itchin, and then you work yourself ready for your trial, and you go to the trial, you perform like you say that you're ready for it, and you just go for it. That's it, and that's what I did. And yeah, I remember dunking on the fast breaks. I remember like pulling up threes and like things. It was just flowing, and it's just that's when I was like, okay, yeah, like this is everything I've been saying since like year 9. Like,
yeah.
Been telling people like, oh, I'm good, all the Portsmouth guys like that I went to school with, like I was saying it since year 9/year 8, like, oh, I'm gonna go to America like after college. And like everyone now, like when I'll see them around town, like they'll be like, oh, how come you're back from America? And they still think I'm there because that's what I've always said, and they did see me go out there. So it's always nice to have that, but ultimately it was family that have put me in front of those doors, and I've got a good support system, and things fall into place when you have the right attitude.
It's really interesting you used the word flow.
Yeah.
That really interesting word, because there's a psychological state called flow where
There is.
you're not thinking about anything, and everything is just happening, and that's called
Doesn't
flow,
happen out of magic. It happens out of prior preparation to prevent the poor performance. That's it.
If you see someone making something look easy, all you're seeing is the 10,000 hours of them practicing.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing. You're not seeing that.
That's it.
And I guess when you sit down in your first lecture, and he starts talking, it's like, that's actually, it's real now, isn't it?
I mean, it just feels like any other lesson, but it's like you pay extra attention. If someone was to video my first lecture compared to my last in America, it'd be obviously very different, because you get used to it. You're like, oh God, just get this over with now. But when you're there, you're like, oh, I'm a new student.
Get that 2.0 as well. Yeah.
So I have a question, and it's really, I think, more relevant nowadays. Certainly, I won't say not mental health, but when you're talking about you're being in college, you're at that age, you're in a team, and nowadays social media is everywhere and prevalent. And then you see articles, and like you literally just type in NCAA, just for example, or March Madness and NBA. I just literally type that in, and the first thing you get up is top 50 potential draft picks for the NBA from the NCAA college and the NCAA as well. And you look at that and you think, if you're someone, you're in this position already, that's just adding another layer of pressure where you go, something like social media is, hey, you're on a list of top 50 players. Hey, you've been mentioned in this thing here. Oh, someone's written an article in Boston about the game that you just played, and someone's flagged up. Are there rules or things that you have when you're playing in college about how you interact with social media? And
I'd imagine there are, because you're representing the college, aren't you?
I'm curious. I'm curious how that works, because
definitely.
It's very, and also as a coach, I'd imagine I'd be thinking, I don't know if I want you on social media. And that sounds really silly, but I would be like, stay
you're
far away
a person that would be best if you're off.
Yeah.
There were guys like that. There were rules about people making fake accounts of like, mocking professors, or like mocking, the uni or whatever. And not to say specifics, but those people got punished, and it wasn't very nice either. The punish nor the comments that they were saying.
It's silly as well, because you think
silly,
that could be
immature.
their career.
It's like that now you've not just got a door closed on, you've got a whole a whole barrier now in front of you as well. Like you're not going to get through that. But it's self-induced. Like, but yes, you do have to know what to put on social media and stuff. I'm the same now. Like it doesn't really matter too much now what I put on, but I know that there are kids that have watched me at a Surrey game, or they're local people here, or that I'd be I'd bump into people like, oh, are you Zach's older brother? And I'd be like, yeah. So it's always like you do have to carry a little bit of like everywhere you go and everything you do does matter. And I feel like whether you're an athlete or not, it's the same thing anyway. You should be respectful and not do certain stuff online that's going to be stupid. Or
I think a lot of your personal character is quite naturally
exactly what I was thinking there. That
leaning to that. I mean, you're a very nice guy. You're easy to get on with, and like your stuff on social media kind of just leans towards that anyway. So I think it's quite natural.
I'm conscious of it though. To be like, not to like this post because it comes across a bit like that. Yeah. Because someone you might see liked by Adam Riabi 12, and like it'll be something that's like a super controversial thing or whatever, and I wouldn't sit here and not be myself. And not do certain stuff to try and like please people. I don't really care about that, but stuff that is easily avoidable.
Yeah,
it's just
a like. What's a like mean?
Me tapping my screen now, it means nothing. It benefits somebody else. Yeah, it benefits somebody else, but it does not benefit me at all. Really, it's just like I can like it without liking it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, that's a nice one. I can like it without liking it. Yeah.
That's what I always think. Like it doesn't.
That's a really good saying.
Doesn't make a difference.
It's funny you say about
a lot of people should think about that.
Yeah,
that saying
100%.
I can like it without liking it.
You've come out with some banging t-shirt slogans today.
I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use that one with like young players.
You're gonna see this on Etsy. That'll be done.
But I've even written down a few players as Adam's talking. I'm thinking they could actually benefit by listening to Adam.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think it's like Paul's just said, we get that vibe from you. That's come from you as a person, your family, your upbringing, where you've come from as a person and how you've developed as a character. So those, are your qualities that you live by. It seems sometimes funny to me that you have kids and 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, you're still kids. You're growing. You're still developing as a person, aren't
learning,
you? And you're under all this pressure scholastically. You've got to you're trying to, with friendships, you're trying to find out about yourself. And then you're in these pressure conditions, and then you want to perform and you want to do well. You want to do well across the board. You want to do well with your friends. You want to do well with the ladies. You want to do well with the men. You want to do well with the college. You want to do well with the basketball. You want to do well with your family. All these things to do at that age.
Yeah.
And you've got 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You've got this long a season.
Yeah. That's it.
And it's that's a real pressure cooker. But,
talking about young players, I did see the highlights of Zach this year at university come up. That was very cool. I really enjoyed watching Zach play. I really missed it.
Why did you?
He was an exciting player, especially when he got his confidence inside the key. That's when I liked him. When he was driving and he was getting confident driving inside, he was just I'm trying to think of the right word.
Oh, I know. It's when he owned it. It's when he took ownership of that ball.
Ownership.
Yeah.
He was
he's like, no, that's mine.
Yeah, it's going where I tell it.
Or explosive. That's the word. He had explosive moments. Everything he did, it was like that's the moment. And it was like, it would be a really big layup. It would be a huge drive inside with two players coming on and he would score it. Obviously, he's got his range from outside the arc as well.
Shot is
but
the three.
He'd get that ball and he just, the way he plays looks nice as well. Like he's got a nice looking shot, fluid and stuff like that. Yeah, it looks really fluid. So I really enjoyed watching him play. And I did see his university highlights come up because he's playing for the Wolfpack, isn't he?
He is.
And that Wolfpack is in Worcestershire.
Worcester, yeah.
Yeah.
You love butchering that, don't you? Worcestershire.
That's going to be a t-shirt as well.
Oh no!
Did I tell you what my son said to me about that? He said, "Dad," I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "This is my oldest son. He's 12 years old." He said, "Dad, do you know what the three hardest men?" Sorry.
Wait, what? Cut that out.
He said,
"Don't watch those videos, son."
Oh dear.
That was a separate conversation.
He said, do you know what the 3 hardest things are for a man to say? I was like, no. I was like, this got really serious. He goes, 1, I'm sorry. I've made a mistake. I was like, wow, okay, it's good. And he went, 2, I need help. I was like, okay. And he goes, 3, was just Cheshire. I just walks off. I thought, he's actually comic genius.
He's on to something there, yeah.
Yeah, and he was also correct because he's never heard his dad say any of those correctly.
Oh dear. But Worcestershire. But no, I really enjoyed watching the highlights of Zach. That was really cool seeing him play again. And
Wow.
yeah,
Do you know what?
I'd love to see him play live again if it was for the Portsmouth Force at some point. But I don't know what he wants to do with his career. But that would be great to see him play.
Well, I'd like to share something with the listeners because not only did Adam bring in his persona, but the last time he came in, Paul mentioned that he brought a certain fragrance with him.
That is true.
Yeah, this is
Literally, Adam left. We're like, thanks for coming in. We did a double header. We'd be talking for hours.
It was here for hours.
It was so good. It was such a lovely time. And then went out, and then obviously we get you off, and then we're just packing up. Paul went, did you notice that Adam smelled really good?
he smelled great.
It's like,
He smelled great.
yeah, like, but what am I meant to do with? You literally said that to me. I'm like, I don't know what to do with that information. I was like,
nice.
I don't know what he was
cool.
wearing.
I didn't sniff him, mate, but yeah, it was pretty good.
I actually thought about it for, it must have been about a week. I didn't do anything for a week, and I messaged Adam saying, Adam, what were you wearing? What cologne were you wearing when you came in? Because you smelled really good. He took it the way it was like meant to be. It was like,
Yeah.
And,
but then I dropped Adam off, and you were telling me all about it. So, you know, why don't you share
Sure.
what's occurring with these wonderful scents?
Yeah, so I have my own business that is an oud fragrance company. So oud is a particular ingredient that comes from the Middle East, and it's notorious for how well it lasts and attaches to scent. So we've brought it over here, me and a few of my business partners, and people are loving it. It sells itself. We do a vegan candle with it as well, the fragrance sprays and the roll-on body oils. But it's popping off. It's popping off. So I appreciate the compliment. And before the I was doing this, if someone was to ask me, what is the best compliment, I would have to say, you smell the best. I would say that was probably the best compliment. I feel like hopefully the viewers would agree with me as well.
yeah.
Not from a man, maybe, but yes, I agree. That would be
Look.
But listen, oud. I mean, just so we understand it, that fragrance. You're playing professionally.
Yeah.
Out in Saudi.
Yeah.
And that's where it's all originating.
Of course. Yeah.
But the way that you're doing it is slightly. I want to say you're westernizing it. But
Yeah. We're bringing it over here, as we know.
it's very unique. I literally never smelled anything like
Exactly.
this.
And
Never
that's
smelled anything
exactly
like this.
the point. So if we can bring it over here and teach people about it and say, look, whatever you like, just at least give us a try, and I promise you won't look back after that. We've had a lot of, I think 96% of our customers are returning customers. So that it just speaks for the product itself when we've looked into kind of the data side of it. And yeah, it is about bringing it to the European market and trying to make it more popular than it is, because in the Middle East, everyone knows what oud is. It's everyone knows it. It's in every house of every shop of every barbers of everything. So, but here it's like we just know about the big designer stuff, and there is a lot more to the fragrance world than what we've got over here. So,
well, I mean, look, I think you're selling yourself short there, because, like you said, the designers, the big names that we could throw out there, but obviously licensing we won't. But those ones that people would spend crazy money on.
Yeah, exactly.
Use oud.
Exactly, yeah. And their oud collection is more often than not the most expensive collection that they offer in their whole range. So, yeah, that's wise, because of how long it lasts and how prominent it can make the smells when you mix it with certain ingredients.
Well, that's why I think the biggest compliment I had with our oud was, like, when Adam left, I came back and went, he smelled great, didn't he? Like, what? I wonder what he was wearing.
Yeah.
Like, and that was what I was saying to you.
But look, you got us sat down before we even came on air. It's like, hey, look, I've got some testers so you can, because we're like, bring some stuff in so we can smell what the differences are like. We were sat there for like 20 minutes going.
We were trying to pinpoint what it was I had last time because I can't remember.
I think we narrowed it down.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? 3 grown men sitting around sniffing like,
so good it is.
Did you smell like this or smell like this?
Well, what I would say with
that's the compliment. Like the fact you got us doing that, like this is really interesting because I really like that smell.
Well, I think you would walk wearing Altoud, you would, and I'm not just saying this because Adam's here. You would walk in a room and you're noticed.
Yeah.
Straight away you're noticed. So if you're a guy and you walk into a club, you might be the ugliest guy in the world, but the women are going to look around and have a look where that smell's coming
That's
from.
all the men need.
There's
sometimes,
hope for you.
Yeah.
There's hope for you.
There's hope for all of us.
So yeah. Well, I know Adam at some point said he might come back and we'll talk about that more.
Yeah, totally, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We might have even decided which one we like the smell of because I think I narrowed it down to 3 that I thought were really nice smells, but I couldn't quite decide. You had a better. You were like, yeah.
I've narrowed it down to 4.
But you actually said, Adam, that some of yours are sold out. Already.
Yeah. So we've got a few that are sold out. We're just waiting for them to come over from Dubai. But yeah, it's been really good so far, and we're doing a lot more stuff locally. We're in a few of our barber shops in Portsmouth that they resell our products and actually use it on their clients. And we're getting great feedback from everyone about, oh, this is really unique, or this I wore this t-shirt and I sprayed it on it and it still smells of it 2-3 days later. It really does the talk in itself. I don't have to say anything to it.
Yeah, that's a great way.
That's the USP of it.
Yeah,
the unique selling point of the oud. It just does it itself.
Literally put it on, go play a game of basketball, and then the sweat will come off and it'll just go all around the gym and everyone will be like,
everyone will be hypnotised and I can just dribble in between the ball, up through the legs, just dunk in.
No, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
That is really cool that you're doing something like that. And I genuinely, I've never smelled anything like that.
I appreciate that.
In the nicest way, because it's just its own thing.
Yeah.
It's not Lynx Africa. It's not
that's a classic though. Everyone starts from the Lynx Africa.
It's the new.
I'll tell you, I feel bad now, but it was my dad's birthday and Father's Day gift for about 8 years straight. But he'll laugh at that, but he definitely gets more now.
Listen, you can. That's a smell though, isn't it? That someone could spray it and someone will go, that is Lynx.
Yeah.
Someone's got it in the locker room somewhere. Someone's got one of them.
Deodorant, the shower gel, all of it. Yeah.
I've literally got it in my gym bag.
No.
Lynx Africa. Yeah, of course I have.
It's an essential.
No longer. Not tomorrow.
No.
I have an Altoud in my gym bag.
Oh, very nice. Are you going to do that? Are you going to do Altoud? Are you going to branch into shower gel?
Well, let's talk about it in 2 months.
We've got a lot of stuff coming at the moment. There you go. Here's a cliffhanger. But yeah, at the moment like I said, we've got the body oils, we've got the fragrance sprays that are all unisex, and then we've got the vegan candle that we mix with the soy wax with all the oud oil. So if anyone that's listening is interested, then head over to our website. It is Altoud, AL, and then separate word OUD. luxury.com, and we've got tester kits that you can choose 5 cents, and we'll deliver it to you before you can decide on what you want. We'll send over a little 3 milliliter bottle and go from there. Let the rest be history.
I think some of the names of the different scents should be things like instant connection.
Don't get him to name.
Nah, he's off. Cut this off now.
Turning heads.
Raise awareness. Nah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in detail next time you come on.
Next time I'm on, we've got some stuff in the locker room that will be coming out soon.
I'm going back for a second sniff after we finish now. Because they've now been percolating for an hour or so.
I walked away to go back to, because it's a bit like the whole coffee thing.
Coffee bean, cleans the palate. That's it.
I'm going to have a little second sniff, which I would never, ever do, but I'm just so intrigued.
I did
And
have
the
a question.
studio's never smelt better, by the way.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
Never
that.
smelled better.
Talking of luxury brands.
Yeah.
Now, my question for you is,
Here we go.
if you could go back and choose the luxury, not, I don't want to say luxury, but any college, university to play for, do you know who that would be?
Any.
Yeah. So like literally, let's say every single college in America says, yes, Adam, come and play for us.
I would go for one of the teams that raised an interest with me in that first tournament. It was UCF, University of Central Florida. So I would have been playing with Taco Fall and a few other
Oh, wow.
players. That was my
Short guy.
I always envisioned that working out. Unfortunately, obviously it didn't, but that was the thing I was most hyped about. But yeah.
Are they because the Gators?
Yeah.
The Gators, aren't they?
No. So University of Central Florida, that's different. So the Florida Gators are a different team.
That's a different team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the football, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I was just wondering, are they connected with the Gators or anything?
no. So the Gators are they got a basketball team as well, but they are
They're their own
totally
thing.
separate
Okay.
team. Yeah. I think they're the Knights. UCF, yeah, University of Central Florida, they're the Knights.
Oh wow.
That's a cool one, Knights. You would have like a Knight mascot,
Yeah, that's it.
gold kit, silver
UCF
kit.
Knights.
Would they get shoes that look like Knight's boots?
No. That's,
Little spurs.
oh,
on the back.
like shiny silver or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could do.
So, we just got to talk really briefly about the NAIA,
Yeah,
because that was the big tournament that you were going into.
yeah.
And then unfortunately the world stopped for COVID.
I know. It's a shame it didn't stop a day before, because we actually lost the game that we played in. But it was all worth the. At least we got to play the game at least. So
But like, what's the build up to that those big tournaments? What's the build up for that like?
So you got a few weeks after your season finishes before you start your league tournament. That's a knockout tournament. Now that's with all the teams in your league. So whoever wins that or comes second normally gets a buy-in to the national tournament. So we came second in the league tournament, and we got our buy-in to go over to North Dakota and go and play in the national tournament against all the NAIA colleges top in the country. So we were playing against people that then got scouted to go NBA and blah blah blah. But yeah, that was a big moment. Then it's a very quick turnaround, maybe like five days until you go to the tournament. And then yeah, it's a whole different scout, it's a whole different environment, it's a whole different pressure, whole different location. Yeah, it's crazy.
Are those courts like some of the best courts you would have ever played on?
Yeah, so they'd have like back-to-back, like maybe 4 courts in a row that are all like NBA standard. They'd be like the training ones, and then you've got obviously the arena and stuff like that. So yeah, it's
sounds
great.
amazing, doesn't it? That
Yeah.
sounds
Well,
absolutely amazing.
It's just the amount of space that they have. We got 4 courts back to back. We just
Yeah.
got all of those just there.
You definitely got space.
And we got an arena as well. Just
and I
that.
guess you got your opponents like potentially training same time as you.
Yeah, it's like slot. Yeah, it's all slotted. So like we might train, and then we might have watched them. Our opponents train before.
Yeah,
us,
no,
and
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
might
it's
sit there,
it's
like
weird.
the whole
Yeah,
team
they
sit
get
there and watch.
There's rules about not hanging around and stuff like that, because it's but
I wonder, is
yeah.
there any animosity when you walk away? And
You try and get sneaky stuff as you come along, like have one of the assistant coaches, maybe the third assistant coach, he'll like sit and watch for a little bit in the background, like what they're doing, and like you never know who you could be matched up with. Now that team that you're watching might not be the team that you ever play in the tournament. You might get knocked out first round, never see them, but it could be the team that you see second or third round in if you get that far. So
Yeah.
it's like if you don't take the chance, then you'll never know what you could have got from it. So
yeah. And look, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, because I imagine this is probably a bit of a wound. Like, I mean, COVID must have been a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Because it was such an impact to your college career.
Yeah. It did. However, because we lost the game the day before, that all the tournaments were cancelled and everyone had to fly home. Because we had lost that, our season was done anyway. Now, because it happened in the space of our season, the NAIA and the NCAA gave everybody a year back of their eligibility to play. So if I wanted to, I could have gone to uni for 5 years and played on kind of like a few classes a semester, and actually had my year back, because our season ended in March, so it was okay. But then there were other sports that were going through till like maybe June or something, so they gave everyone the year back. Some chose to do it, and some people are got their 5 years worth or whatever. For me, it wasn't the best thing for me to do, which is why I didn't. And then I flew back, and that was me done. It was a very quick turnaround, because March is also spring break, so we was ready to go down to Miami. It's my last summer, go down, party a little bit.
That's a big party to miss.
I sent the message to my mum to be like, yeah, I'm about to go down to Miami, like they've just cancelled the tournament. And she's like, you're not going to Miami, we've got you a flight, it's coming home in 4 days. So it's like so a very quick turnaround, and then it's straight into lockdown. So it's like it's crazy. But some people got it back. We didn't technically lose anything. We were very lucky, because obviously we weren't lucky, but we lost the game, and then that was our season done. And then they give us our year back anyway. So if you wanted to, you could have had it again, and it benefited some people. I got a teammate that did do the extra year, and now he's playing pro over in Portugal, and he's in Ireland now, actually playing pro as well. But he's a good friend of mine, and that helped him. But arguably, could he have gone pro just doing the 4 years? Yeah, probably. But it's all down to preference. That's why they give the option.
I did have one question. Actually, it just popped in my head what you said earlier.
Yeah.
When you first turn up to a team, were there any things as far as like the current team, like, right, here's the rookie, right, let's put him through it? Was anything like that?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like
It's like
initiations, or he's got to suffer for the first 3 months or whatever like that.
Yeah, of course. There's always stuff. Who are the highly recruited players. Who are the ones that are a bit like, oh, he's not really good with his left hand. Like, it all comes down to the scout. Like, because they are in our league, you do have access to the games. Of course, they're all like televised and stuff. So you get to see it, and coaches work really hard to try and do that prior preparation, so that we can execute stuff like attacking the freshmen, or making sure that we give a tough time for the star player, etc. So it's all strategic, but it's worthwhile.
Blimey.
It's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah, so much. I've just read it. We've not really talked too much about the NCAA, but it doesn't matter.
There's enough to talk about for us anyway, isn't there?
I mean, do you know what? I think it's really been interesting, more of anything, just talking about this bigger picture, because all of these things have been in the headlines.
Yeah.
But we are forgetting these are all college people.
Yeah.
Who have got all these other things going on in life, as well as education and stuff. Oh, and by the way, they're in this tournaments, and just like I flagged up for you guys earlier, but like 12.1 or 12.3 million viewers that they had in that game that just came out. That's more than every women's college basketball game ever. Just watch that one game. More than every ESPN college game so far to date.
But that's why I said you got to draw parallels
More
to
than
Bird and Magic. That's similar things, and then that just got injected into the NBA.
More than every Major League Baseball game last season, more than any NHL game last season, or Major League Soccer last season, and almost every NBA game bar one. Like, that's how big that game was. And the men's I think it was lower, but it was still a crazy high number.
Yeah.
Like some of these college games are outstripping the NBA games.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Would you say the atmosphere is better at college
than
the NBA? They seem to be a bit more crazy.
Rowdy.
100%.
Like rowdy.
There's no question that 100% they're obviously you got all the college kids that are there as well, and like they have like frat parties, and they after you win, the American football team, they'll throw a house party or whatever. It's like it's all in everyone's best interest to win. Whereas for the NBA, it's a bit like you've got the super fans that are there, but you might just have your odd family that turn up from a different state to watch their first ever NBA game, or English people that turn up. But yeah, they are ride or dies. They don't mess about with that. They don't mess about with it.
Looks like it's like rowdy, really loud, almost like a football crowd, I guess.
I'd argue that even it goes as far to say that I'd say NBA is probably the least rowdy.
Yeah.
I'd say second highest is college. I'd say first highest is high school. High school goes crazy, especially with the kids being like 16 and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like it's like they'll come on the court, they'll
Confidence.
be taunting you, like they actually don't care. Like it's I obviously never went to high school over there, but from all the videos and stuff you've seen, like it's like on the same par as college, but you can get away with more stuff when you're at high school.
But you say that, of course, but then obviously you went to college.
Yeah.
Those kids, they were the ones in high school who just ejected straight into college. So they've been Johnny Big Boy in high school.
Yeah.
Then they walk into college and you go back down in the pecking order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I know you see those videos where they're all lined, like you get loads of people lined up on the baseline, and as they score, they're all running like,
Or
you
cross someone up and he's on the floor, he's ankle broken, and everyone's just going crazy, like especially in high school. Like it is nuts.
You know what? I'll be honest. I'm never a fan of that.
Never a fan of the hype.
Like when someone does a crossover and someone goes over, I always look at what they do next. If they just stand there and the guy gets back up, I think, what was the point in that? Just get, I just think if you've used it and then carried on going, and he's behind you, brilliant.
If your skill has enabled you to put your defender so off balance that you then can go and score easily, that's the point of it.
Yeah.
But if you're then to like bring it back and then like, do
That's
something
what I
else and
don't
let him
like.
stand up and then like do it again and try. It's like, you're not a circus freak. You just get it done.
Yeah.
It's the street ball sort of
Yeah,
part
it
of
is.
it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And,
of course.
but you see a lot of them at the moment where they're sharing them and they go, look at this guy, he just crossed him over, and you go, no, he didn't. He tripped him. He stood on his foot, or someone stood on his foot.
Or he pushed off.
Yeah, and then you go, that's not a good offensive move. That's actually just sloppy.
That's what will get the likes. That's what will get all the social media attention. And
I just realised how long we've been talking. I thought we'd been talking for about an hour.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
it's been about 20 minutes, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what. Do you want me to? I got a good question to finish it off. Do you want me to ask it?
Let's do it.
Is it going to be about Adams getting free shoes?
Is it going to be about how to pronounce certain parts of England?
No. Last time you were on the show,
Yeah.
Mark's question was always
Oh, I know what this is.
Five and Pine.
Yeah.
And you had MJ, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, Durant, Iverson. Great six.
Yeah.
We brought it up earlier. It was the Big Three tournament.
Yeah.
Let's revise that question. Out of those six players, or you can change it.
Okay.
Who's going to be your Big Three?
Big three. Okay.
Out of those six, that is hard.
That is hard. I'm definitely going LeBron.
Cool. In a 3-on-3.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about size here. Shaq for sure.
Are we saying Shaq in Orlando Magic days? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Orlando
LA,
or LA.
LA.
I'll take all of it.
maybe not Miami.
Orlando Magic.
It's tough here. I've got to cut out one of the MJ or Kobe.
I know.
I think I'm gonna go LeBron. I'm gonna go Shaq, and I'm gonna go MJ. People are gonna hate that I shouldn't have put LeBron in there, but for the fact that it's 3v3 and he covers so much of everything, he does have to be in there.
I think LeBron would actually compliment MJ. He would let MJ be MJ and he would compliment him. He would almost turn into his Pippin.
Yeah.
That's what personally could happen. In this hypothetical world.
He's not happy. Look at him.
This isn't your question. This isn't your question, Mark. No. This is Adam's question. That's his
we'll
answer.
ask you.
Done.
What's your three?
Do you know what?
He would
I'm
say,
literally
I know
just
his answer.
thinking-
He would say anyone who, it would be someone who played for Seattle or Dallas.
No, I'd go exactly the same as you, except I would have gone Kobe, not MJ.
Okay. Yeah, I was debating that.
And the only reason is because you're saying 3-on-3.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of that flary kind of aggressive street ball move. I would associate that more with Kobe than MJ.
Yeah. No, I get
as
that.
in that, that attacking to the hoop sort of thing. I know MJ did that, but
I feel like Kobe got it from him though.
he did. Yeah. Oh, well, of course he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
They're very
Yeah,
they're almost interchangeable because of how similar they are. But I feel like out of respect, he's more of a GOAT to me than Kobe, so he has to be there.
Have you seen the video where you've got Kobe and LeBron side by side on the video, and it literally looks like the same person?
They've mirrored the moves, and awesome.
I mean, literally, can you imagine that? You go, right, it's a FIBA 3-on-3 tournament. I mean, I don't like that ball, by the way, the blue and yellow one. The 3-on-3 they play. I'm not a fan of the colour, but I get why they've done it. And they go, right, you're playing a 3-on-3 tournament. Here's your next opponents, MJ, LeBron, and Shaq walk on. You're like, why are we going to play?
Yeah.
What is the point in that?
That's it.
I mean, Shaq on a 3-on-3, no one's going to stop him. They'd just be like, just feed the ball up high, he'll catch it, and just dunk and done.
And push you on the floor.
That he would as well, wouldn't
Shaq
he? He'd
legend.
do one of those, do the old 2-foot. Yeah,
That's his statue, Mark.
That's his
statue.
That's his shoe, isn't it?
Right. Well, we're in the Final Four of the NCAA, and we'll see what happens over the next 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, so the Final Fours, actually, in the men's, it's UConn versus Alabama.
Yeah.
And NC State versus Purdue. And obviously Purdue, as you mentioned with the men's, got a couple of good players coming through.
Adam, who do you think is going to win it? Win it all? Out the Final Four.
That's the
men.
That's the men's Final Four.
For men or for women, you're asking?
These are the men here.
Yeah, that's the men's, that's the women's.
I like NC State for men.
Okay. So women's, we got South Carolina versus NC State as well.
Yeah.
And then Iowa versus UConn.
Yeah, I'm going Iowa.
Ooh, okay. So Iowa and NC State.
Yeah. I like it. I like being controversial.
Do you know what? I just realised you've got UConn in the men's and women's, and also you've got NC State in the men's and women's.
Yeah.
Well, it says something, doesn't it, about their program?
But can you imagine if you are that college that gets the men's and women's teams into the finals and then they both win?
That'll be.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't feel like that has happened before.
I don't know, but can you imagine that university, both those coaches would be going straight back to the uni going, yeah, we need a pay rise because we're doing something right here. Like
what you were saying, those two universities, the men and the women's team, they must be really close. If they get into the Final Fours, they must be really tight.
UConn, NC State, they're doing very well. Yeah. It's just really, really interesting, isn't it? I mean, in March Madness, historically, people like Steph Curry have been players that have done super, super well. But there's a lot of other ones who've just, I won't say not fallen by the wayside, but they've been exceptional in the tournament, a bit like in the inaugural in-season tournament, where players suddenly stepped up. They did really well in that tournament, but then they just fell off the cliff because the rest of their season or whatever wasn't very good. So
we should do an NCAA all-time history, great players, teams. That's what we should do.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you mentioned the Fab Five, didn't you? I mean, it's worth us talking about it.
Yeah, right.
Adam, thank you.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure having you on. Smelling so good as always. Well, thank you for coming and listening to our show. If you want to go back and check them out, we've got 90 shows out there at the moment, and we're going to keep knocking them out weekly. Yeah,
I think we're approaching 250,000 listens.
Love it.
Oh, yeah, we
Just
are.
keep them growing.
In less than 6 months.
Absolutely. So if you want to get in contact with us, UK Basketball Podcast, gmail.com, go on our website, go check out the socials. I have been Mark.
I've been Paul.
And I have been Adam. Thank you very much.